the journey there's been ups and downs, but more ups for the most part. Where do I start? A lot's been going on, and this is just an updated video. So, been walking with Christ now for over a year, and yeah, my routine has been, things have changed a lot. So every day I would wake up, I would pray. In the beginning, I was praying a lot and apologizing to Jesus. I was apologizing for denying him and so on. So every day now, though, I'll pray when I wake up. I'll pray with the missus before we go to bed. We get the kids into a praying routine as well. We would grace our food before we eat. Pray sometimes before we leave the house. So yeah, praying has become sort of a big part in our lives. And yeah, so the dynamics changed. Also, the church situation, that was an issue as well in the beginning, because we were just church hopping all over the place to find to find the denomination that suits us. So every sort of Sunday we would go to a different church and, just check it out and so on. At the moment, we are settled at a church which is about 5 minutes drive from where we live, which is good. It's called St. John's. And yeah, it's an Anglican church. It's okay, a bit different to what I'm used to, different to what I grew up in. But yeah, that's it. So if we do not go to church, we'll then sort of have home services. I used to do home service with another guy that I met. And yeah, it's great. And the kids love it as well. We'll go through my book of Bible stories. We will go through the stories and we'll have conversations. The kids will ask questions. They love it. And excuse me, and that's that. So there's been a number of challenges, though, still ongoing challenges. And I think this is where, when you are doing your best to build a strong and grow spiritually with Jesus, and the devil tries to intercept God's plan and try to put you off, because I never knew about a thing called spiritual warfare. And it was a brother of mine, Basil, who talked to me about spiritual warfare and told me that it's a real thing that goes on. And I don't know, I've had so many experiences that I will be sharing in other videos, but it is a real thing. It's a real thing because I've experienced it. My missus, she's been through it as well. And I think my little boy as well, Luke. Even in India, my little girl. So yeah, looking back on things. But anyway, things of the world I don't care for anymore. All this temporary stuff. I'm not bothered. There would be sort of music that I would listen to. The thing is, being sort of a Christian, or say a man who's walking with Christ, I usually think that you haven't got much of a life. I used to think that your life must be so dead and boring. But yeah, not knowing that I was missing out on a lot. So yeah, music that I used to listen to, I don't anymore. I used to be into sort of some serious underground hip hop, rap, grime, trap, a dancehall, slow jams, with some really dark lyrics as well. I remember this rap tune that I was listening to. I can't remember it was from Group Home or Mobb Deep or Onyx, but basically the line was, I slapped God in the face for putting me through this torture. And back then I thought, oh my word, did he really just say that? Just feeding my soul with some darkness, which, ain't good at all. Glorifying gangs, violence, sexualizing women and all that stuff. It's not good at all. And, films, I was into my films a lot. I was into my violent films a lot. Films, some of my classics like Reservoir Dogs, Scarface, Pulp Fiction, Godfather. I think the last horror films, because I used to love horror films. The missus and I would love horror films, man. We'll sit down and watch them all day, every day. And Smile, it was the last one that I've seen. And I think there's Smile 2. And sometimes I do really want to see some of them. I thought, you know what, nah, not good. You don't know what portals you're opening when you're consuming yourself with those sort of content. So yeah, games as well. I wasn't really a big gamer. Back in the days I was, but I used to love my first person shooters, violent games. Resident Evil, Doom, Dark Souls, I think it was, Tormented Souls, all those, pure evil darkness stuff. And yeah, it's not good. Now I just want to live my life all the way for Christ. I want to just worship Christ all the way. And at times, I know this sound a little bit strange, but I would sit down in the dark, not in the dark, but I sit down in the quiet, and I would just speak to God and talk to him about things that's going on. And yeah, all my fear, my stress, my worry, anxiety, I don't entertain those anymore because I put them all to him. So, and growing up where I've been sort of been verbally abused, been shouted at, barked at a lot, physically abused, it's sort of, made me become all a little bit shelled up, so I would clam up as a kid. I clam up a lot. Didn't really say a lot, wasn't outspoken. I grew up very shy. And yeah, basically, as a result of, being, verbally abused, being barked at a lot and shouted at a lot. And yeah, so, that builds sort of anxiety and fear into you. And, I struggled with that for many, many years. And I just put it all to God. I put it all to God and he's dealing with it. He's handling it for me. So yeah, my focus now is just fully on Jesus, my family, my friends, and people who are interested in following Christ. So I'm still a baby in the walk at the moment. Still a baby, still learning, still growing. One of the things that I do is, and this is because I call them the messengers. These guys that I met one day and I was having a chat with them and I told them my testimony and one of them said, you know what? You're going to have your own ministry. And I was like, whoa, that's big, really? And he said to me, what you need to do, read the Bible fully. After you finished, there's a number of books that you should be going through. Also, study Moses. That's what he says. Study Moses and go through these books. Romans, Acts, Deuteronomy, and a few others. I can't remember. But yeah, and since then, that's what I've been doing. I've learned about the different version of the Bible. I didn't know that, there were so many others. I thought King James was the only version. I call it the Shakespeare Bible. And, I didn't know you can get the NIV, the ESV, that are written in more modern English. So yeah, it was so nice to sort of read from those Bible and be able to digest them, digest the content a lot better. So reading it at the moment, I'm sort of halfway through. Some of the books are really, really rough and very sort of like heavy stuff. Exodus was one of them. There's so much to sort of try and so many tribes, trying to read and take it all in. Yeah, it can be a bit much. But the plan is, the Bible is my daily bread, my book for life. I used to read a lot of, say, self-help books and all this and that. I was into The Secret a lot back in the days. And The Secret is just a summary, just extracting stuff from the Bible and using bits from the Bible to, design something a bit different. But anyway, it's just the Bible that I read. I don't need anything else. I'm going to read it through fully, and then I'll go back over it just to study it in detail. That is my main sort of plan. So for me though, now that I'm with Christ, I wish people who have been in Christ for long, sell Jesus more. Just be fearless with it. Just sell it more, because, I've been missing out on so much. I didn't know that there was so much that I'm missing out on. So for me now, I just want to grow, build a strong, intimate relationship with Christ. And this scripture, I would say this one is a bit close to my heart, because this is what I've been through. And it's Matthew 7, verse 7, where it says, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find." Because that's what I did. I was asking and I was seeking, and it was given to me. And after I had sort of made a mockery, I denied Jesus. 3 days later, he turned up in my house, and basically I was washed in his blood. Literally washed in his blood. And on the third day, he went and he left my back door open. So what more do you need? What more do I need? I surrendered, and I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to be part of his family. So yeah, there's a number of things that I am still trying to understand. The whole baptism situation as well. Because some people say that all you need to do is ask Jesus to come into your heart, open up your heart and accept him, and you will be saved. I think it's Romans 10. I'll put it there. But it's when you sort of ask Jesus to come into your spirit, come into your heart, accept him, and you will be saved. So yeah, the whole baptism thing, water, immersion, was all a little bit confusing to me in the beginning, because some people said that you have to do that. it has to be done for you to be saved. If you're not submerged, you're not saved. But for me, in my heart, I know that I'm saved. I'm not baptized yet. I'm not under water. I've not been submerged or immersed under water, but I've been baptized in the Spirit, because I knew that day, that Sunday evening, I was baptized when I was washed in his blood, and he went and left my back door open. So, yeah, a number of other things as well. The Sabbath situation confused me as well. The various different church, it's so confusing sometimes. But in my heart, I feel that the main thing is all about building disciples, going out and finding people, talking to people about Christ, and bring people to Christ to save them. So give him a try and stay blessed.